Welcome to AfterCLIMB. Today I'm going to talk about our delivery application. So delivery all starts at the till. So that's where we're going to start by just simply scanning the items that we're going to deliver. And I'm going to do a couple of prescriptions. And just to show you, I'll do an OTC or two as well. Now, the flip charts, probably this whole till screen may look different than what you're used to. This is the new till that came out in version 8.3. Some of you have it, some of you will be getting it soon, but rest assured the flip charts that you see will be identical to what you have today. They've just moved from the bottom to the side. And your flip charts may be very different because they're all customized to your specific needs. I have a flip chart here called create delivery transaction, so we would add that if you're doing delivery. And so I've scanned my items that we're going to deliver, and then I hit create delivery transaction. Now, what happens next depends on a couple of parameters. So one of the parameters is that you can require that the person selects a driver. If you only have one driver and they're doing deliveries throughout the day, then you won't have this screen. But if you have multiple drivers that could be going out at the same time, you can select the driver here. I'm just going to select one that I'm using, and then it'll take you right to the method of payment screen. At this point, you can select what method of payment you want to choose from. This is also is determined by parameters. So for instance, if you don't take cash on your deliveries, then this cash option would not exist. So it's all part of the setup. So let's go ahead and choose credit card. When we choose credit card, we do have the option of looking to see if we have a credit card on file. So I'm going to hit F2, and that's going to show me a token that's a credit card that's on file. So a brief description of credit cards on file and what that's all really about. It's called tokenization. It's the credit card industry standard for how credit cards get stored. So a credit card is never stored in our system, and it never actually touches our system. The credit card is always entered through the payment application device, that piece of hardware. It could be your signature capture pad or something of that nature. And it's either swiped, the chip is put in through the chip reader, or it's keyed in manually. At the point that any of those things happen, that information is sent to the credit card. It's encrypted at that moment in time by the piece of hardware. It's then sent to the processor. The processor decrypts it and then approves or declines it, but sends back a token. And then if you're set up for tokenization, that token will be a recurring token that you can use in the future. And that token ties to a credit card. What's stored in our system is simply the token. If your system were to get breached and all of your tokens were stolen, they would be of no value whatsoever to the criminals that did it. So that's an industry standard, not something we've created. It's just something we code to. The token does include a little bit of information, though. They tell us what kind of card it is so that we know that, and they tell us what the last four digits of the card are. That way, if you have multiple tokens on file, you can ask the patient which card they would like to use. It also tells you the expiration date of the token, and then also whether or not it's an FSA card. At this point, they just have the one, and we can hit enter here, and now it'll go out and charge to that card. Okay, so that completes this. You do all of those transactions. When the driver is ready to take the deliveries out for delivery, they simply need to take and use a PDA. This one, I'll show it this way. It does have a trigger grip, but this is I also use this for my inventory counting. So they typically would not have a trigger grip on. There would be no reason for the driver to have that, so that just comes off. But this is what it would look like. Basically, an Android. It could be an Android phone, any Android device, and I'm going to share the application with you so you can see what that looks like. So I'll bring up. Here's a screen, and I will open the delivery application. It's going to ask me to sign in, so I'll use my credentials to sign in. I have more secure credentials than you probably would have, but so now I can see my transactions. So I have 3 orders, uh, one of them from Ray Abernathy, and then this wouldn't, I was practicing earlier, and I have 2 for Pauline Anthony. Now, if you have a device that has a GPS in it, as well as internet connectivity, then you can use the mapping tool, and it will show you where you are, the little blue dot here, and then where you're delivering to. And if you touch it'll actually tell you, who these different people are. So I'm going to go ahead. If you don't have that, you don't need it. But if it's not something you care about, then you can have a less expensive Android device. But just wanted to show you that that's available to you, and then you could take it further and actually click on the map button here. It'll give you the route from where you are to the location where you're headed. So very nice little feature. We'll go back to the delivery. So at this point, you'll notice if we look at the first one, you'll notice that it's marked paid. So the driver knows they don't have anything to collect. You do have the option of setting it up, whether you want to be able to accept payment at the doorstep or whether you want to have to be prepaid. So that's another option in the setup of our delivery. In this case, it's marked paid, and then it shows not delivered. So all 3 of these are marked paid and not delivered. Now, if you're at the doorstep and you want to do the delivery, you highlight it. You can't really see, it is highlighted, and you can see it very easily on the application on the Android device. Here on the screen, very difficult to see because I'm sharing a share of a share. So I'm going to hit deliver. That's going to take me to the signature screen. All of the same signatures are captured here that would be captured on the signature pad. Any questions that would be on the signature pad will also appear. So in this case, I'm just capturing the signature. I can sign, press done. Then the driver can actually see whether they want to make you re-sign or the person re-sign or not. The driver says done. Now, before I hit done, in the real world, what happens is that the moment that this device leaves the store, it is disconnected from the network. And I'm going to see if I can disconnect real quick. Well, it doesn't look like it's going to disconnect for me, but so what'll happen if you're disconnected, what you would be, the driver leaves, the disconnect from the store's network. So as they complete the transaction, when they hit done, what would happen is that transaction, instead of disappearing like you just did, it would move to the bottom of the screen. And instead of saying not delivered in red, it would say delivered in green. And then once you take it back to the store, it reconnects to the store's network. It would then upload to the signatures to the till and complete the transaction. Because I'm on the same network now, it already did that. But that's how that actually works. Okay, so you just go through and do all your deliveries. And again, sign. I'm not going to do all of them here. Done. And then if you can't deliver one, like let's say this particular one wasn't delivered, then when you come back to the store, it's still not delivered. And I'll show you. So I'm going to, now we've come back to the store. And typically, you could set up your screen so that you also have the list of deliveries. If you want it on your front screen, in my particular case, I actually have it on one of my, under miscellaneous functions on one of my other screens, and I have the list of delivery transactions. So now you'll see that we have this delivery transaction, and let's say that the patient actually said they didn't want this, then we can come back and press F2 and cancel the transaction. And when we do that, it's just going to give us a warning that it could be out for delivery. In this case, we know that they didn't want it. And it's going to ask if we want to basically void the transaction. And so it's going to void It was charged to a Visa. It's going to void the transaction. And that's basically it for the delivery module. It's pretty simple, pretty effective. And if you have any questions, just call either our sales team or our support team, and they'll be happy to assist you. Thanks and have a great day. See you next month.